Alright, so check this out. Chasers, pursuers, entertainers, and choosers. Oh man, this might ruffle some feathers out there, but I'd rather lead you to the light than keep you in the darkness. Now, this may mostly be from a male perspective just because I can only tell you what I know from my own experiences and other people I know and their experiences. But please, don't be surprised if there are more parts of this as I get other women and men's perspectives. First of all, you have to understand where you're at. You're either at the top of your game and you're building up. If you're still in the build-up phase, there's two things you can do. Stay off the market. Don't waste time disappointing yourself if you're not satisfied with what you get. Accept what you get. It doesn't matter what someone tells you, no matter what stage you are at in life. There's someone for you. Whoever selects you is just a reflection of you. You don't like what you get, fall back. Focus on yourself and come back on the scene when you're at your best. Alright, so let's start with chasers and pursuers. And man, it's tough out here for the chasers, especially men. How do you know the difference? It's simple, but it can be complicated. As I said in the beginning, it is very important to understand where you're at. 9 times out of 10, if you're not at the top of your game, meaning you got your mind right, you're focused on your own success in the gym, your fashion and styles on point, be real with yourself. You're probably going to do more chasing than pursuing. So speaking in general terms, when you're chasing, you're usually the initiator. You're starting off going after someone when they're showing no interest in you. You may even exchange social media, but they're not following you back. At that point, you're just a fan. Think about celebrities you're following. They're probably not following most people back because why? They're just fans of them. It works the same way in dating. And again, you don't get to follow back, they're probably not that interested in you. That's simple, right? But for the fellas in particular, it's not that simple. Why? They're too invested in how she looks. I see a lot of guys falling into the trap or being hypnotized by looks, and boom, you're following someone who doesn't follow you back, and you're going out your way to change that. Please don't fall for the trap. Have some pride out here. Now, outside the internet, if she's consistently turning down going on a date and you're practically begging her for a date to get one, that's not pursuing, that's chasing. Or you're constantly initiating a text or a call, yes, this is chasing. Don't get too caught up in someone's looks or what someone has material-wise. If they're not pulling their own weight and reciprocating and showing interest and going after you also, at that point, you're just chasing. And another thing, if you're texting them and the responses are delayed, like hours in between, days in between, or short answers, or they just don't seem interested, but you keep engaging with them, you're chasing. And to be honest, they won't really respect you for that. So for pursuers, remember what I was saying in the beginning, know where you're at? When you're at the top of your game, you could fall seamlessly into the pursuer category, but don't get it twisted. Even if you're not at the top of your game, you don't have to chase. One of the first fundamental rules of being a pursuer is simply having respect for yourself and never sacrificing your respect for anything. But I'm not going to sell you a dream. You could be a pursuer and you may not be at the top of your game. So don't be disappointed with what you get, because again, remember, who you attract is a reflection of you. Now for pursuers, just speaking for the fellas out there, in the beginning you probably won't do much cold approaching. You typically won't make a move until a woman shows interest in you. With social media, they may follow you, watch your stories, like your stories, or a picture, leave a comment, and as a gentleman, you return the favor, and that actually leads to a destination. At that point, you're pursuing because your actions are being reciprocated. Or it could be a situation when you bump into someone consistently. You may not close the deal on the first conversation, but you're building with them, speaking every time you see them, getting to know them a little bit more every time you see them, and they're doing the same. This is a classic pursuer's move, but remember, they have to be showing interest in you too and reciprocating that. Now, fellas, you may set up a date and hell, she may cancel the first date, but a pursuer always plays it cool. You can give a suggestion for a date afterwards, but you gotta leave the ball in their court. If they cancel again, play it cool, but just walk away instead of continuing to beg her. A man that's pursuing simply isn't going to waste his time. The art of pursuing boils down to two things I mentioned before: respecting yourself and only move on someone who's reciprocating your actions. But this is just part one. We'll get into entertainers and choosers on the next one.